We usually think of empathy as just a feeling, right? But what if I told you it's a skill? A skill you can actually build. Today, we're going to get into the surprising science of how reading someone's life story does way more than just entertain you. It can literally rewire your brain to better understand, well, everything and everyone. All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with a problem we all face, this huge disconnect between people. Then we'll talk about how stories, specifically biographies, are the bridge. We'll even get into the nitty-gritty of how that bridge works, the empathy engine, if you will. We'll look at some incredible, world-changing examples, and then we'll wrap it all up with what this means for you. Okay, first up, the Great Divide. Let's talk about why it's so hard sometimes to connect with people, especially when their life looks nothing like yours. I mean, you've been there, right? You're talking to someone, and it's like you're on two different planets. You're trying your best to understand them, but there's this massive gap. And the weirdest part, the reason for that gap is something you can't even see. And this is the heart of the problem. We all walk around inside what you could call an unseen scaffolding. Think of it like this invisible framework made up of our culture, our upbringing, our personal experiences. It basically shapes everything we believe and every single thing we do. And since we can't see our own scaffolding, and we definitely can't see anyone else's, it's super easy to just misunderstand each other and fall back on stereotypes. Most of the time, we don't even realize we're doing it. So the big question is, how do we break out of that? How do we even begin to see this invisible framework? How do we build a real, sturdy bridge across that great divide? Well, the answer might surprise you. It's found between the covers of a book. Yep, the answer is biography. And look, I'm not talking about some dusty old textbook that's just a list of dates and accomplishments. No way. A great biography is totally different. It's an invitation. It's a powerful tool that lets you literally step outside of your own reality and see the world through someone else's eyes, even if it's just for a little while. Okay, so how does this magic actually happen? Because it's not just passive reading, right? It's an active process. A good biography works like an empathy engine, and it's powerful enough to literally start rewiring the pathways in your brain that help you connect with other people. It really breaks down into this cool three-step process. First up is identification. That's where you start to see yourself in their story. Then comes nuance. You stop seeing them as a simple label and start seeing a messy, complicated, real human being. And finally, context. This is where it all clicks, and you finally get the world they were living in, the world that made them who they were. Now, this is where it gets super interesting, scientifically speaking. This whole process taps into two totally different kinds of empathy. The first one is called affective empathy. This is the one you feel in your gut, right? It's the heart part. When you read about their success, you feel that spark of joy with them. When you read about their struggles, you feel that ache in your chest. You're basically sharing their emotional world. But it's not just about feelings. This is crucial. A biography also builds your cognitive empathy. This is the head part. It's not just feeling what they feel, it's understanding why they feel it. You start to see the full picture, the pressures they were under, the context of their decisions, the logic behind their actions, even if those actions are things you would never do yourself. So that's the 1-2 punch right there. Affective empathy is feeling with someone. Cognitive empathy is understanding their worldview. A great biography forces you to do both. It hits you in the heart and it engages your brain. And that combo, that's the secret sauce for building real, genuine empathy. And look, this isn't just some abstract academic idea. This empathy engine has had a real, tangible impact. It has literally changed the course of history. Let's look at a couple of books that completely shifted how millions of people saw the world. Okay, first, think about The Diary of a Young Girl, the Holocaust. I mean, the sheer scale of it is almost impossible to wrap your head around, right? 6 million people. It's just a number. But Anne Frank's diary, it takes that massive abstract tragedy and boils it down to the life of one teenage girl. One girl with hopes and crushes and fears that feel so familiar. Her voice is just so real. It's so alive. And because of that, readers from all over the world for decades have connected with her on a deeply human level. That is affective empathy, that gut feeling doing its thing. It creates an emotional connection that a history book with all its facts and figures just can't touch. Okay, so that's the heart. Now let's talk about the head, cognitive empathy. A perfect example is the autobiography of Malcolm X. For so many people, this book was a lightning bolt. It provided a perspective that was totally absent from the mainstream, giving them a first-hand look into the systemic injustices that have shaped so much of American history. The book's power is just incredible. It took a figure who, for many, was just a controversial name and a headline, and it showed them the human being behind it. It let people understand the why, the context. You start to see the systemic forces that fueled his anger, that drove his activism, and that led to his amazing personal evolution. It just completely challenged everything people thought they knew. So where does this leave us? What's the big takeaway here? How do we use this incredible tool in our own lives, like today? Well, it means this. Picking up a biography isn't just about killing time. It's an active choice. It's an act of building a connection. Every single life story you dive into is a chance to chip away at a stereotype, to build real, honest-to-God compassion, and to just become a more aware and thoughtful person in this complicated world. So, the next time you're browsing a bookshelf or an online store, just remember this. You're not just choosing a book. You're making a choice to expand your own world, to deepen your understanding of what it means to be human. You are choosing to build a bridge. So, the only question left is, whose story will you hear next?